Hello Jimny fans, this is my Jimny, and you obviously clicked on this video because you want to know about this awesome reliability upgrade for the Jimny. If you have a Jimny, you know that one of the downfalls, especially when you've got bigger tyres on, is that these rear wheel bearings are tiny, absolutely tiny. So this kit puts front wheel bearings that are much bigger on the rear. So I have been prepping. I'll show you what the first steps are. Oh, come into my workshop. So this is a front hub, all the ABS stuff and everything on it. Most people with a Jimny will have one of these special Jimny front wheel bearing tools. So you do that to take off this bit first, that then allows you to take off. Oh, I've taken this all apart and I'm now trying to do it one-handed. Hold on, and we're back. So you take off the wheel bearing tightener thing, take off the main hub, undo these 4 bolts here, and then this bit you need. But what we don't need is these 2 bits here. Hope you can see them. These 2 bits here that are the vacuum in and out. So these are the things. Let's get you closer in. So these little vacuum connections, they need to be taken off now. I've just worked out they are quite loose, so these big pair of pliers trying to do it one-handed so you can see on the video, but you don't need an angle grinder or anything. The next bit, which I'll also need the vise for, I'll do one side at a time, is, can you see this brass bush? Is that brass bush? We need to knock that out. So, well, I was going to just see what was working and then show you. As you can see, this brass bush is out, and I did manage just to hook this bit of this marquee peg just in and knock it out. So let's see if the other one is just as easy, because I was going to see if it could move and then put the camera on, and then it was out. So there we go. There we go. It did work. Boom. Boom. Well, obviously you want to make sure that everything is clean. This is my favourite cleaner. It's actually a bite wash by Hope, but I use it on the Jimny as well. My little jet wash and a brush. So I've cleaned everything. Obviously the back side is where it's going. I've cleaned all the grease off it. I will do a little bit more cleaning with some wire before it gets RTV to the axle. But there we are, next step done. So angle grinder, and you take that off, so that is flat. Hello internets, and today we're looking at one of the great upgrades for a Jimny, and it's not removing the rear drum brakes and fitting a disc brake, but you do need that particular modification already or ready to fit along with this. This particular upgrade puts the much larger front wheel bearings on the rear and upgrades the shafts and goes to a full floating setup. And then you've also got the same wheel bearing on all four corners, easily replaceable. You can just carry one. Now I've done some prep already. But first I'll just put on the screen and scroll through the PDF of instructions that you get with this kit, and then we'll do it together and show you how easy it is. And this is how easy it is. I'm doing it on my drive with no particular special tools other than a good socket set. So the first thing will be to strip down this hub. So I'll get on with that now. So when you strip down, you end up with this, and that's the old setup there with the smaller rear bearing, and then that's the bigger front bearing and front setup that we will be fitting using this adapter kit that keeps these Megane RS rear brake setup, or it's actually needed, not only does it keep it. So yeah, let's get it together. So then you get to this point. So I've taken them on the passenger side, so it's the longer of the two axles from my package, and I put the axle in first, wiggled it into the diff, you felt it go back into the splines, and then I've put this big oil seal in, and it will push back into place, but when there's this big flat round bit here that's going to push it back, I'm fine with that. Now I debated putting that in first and sliding the whole shaft through it, and then that would have been the other way around. Decided it didn't matter because it'll keep the oil out. Maybe it's a bit easier to line it up with the diff. I don't have any problems if it's also lined up central on this side. But I slid this on over this end rather than first. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put two of these bolts in opposite corners to line up with these holes here, and we'll pull this plate onto that. So it's the next day. Can't remember exactly what I did or didn't film yesterday, but basically yesterday I was doing a bit of a dry fit up and realised I had the wrong size bolts. So now I've got some M8 25mm for on here. So if you remember, we put in the seal and the uprated shaft, and now we're going to put this onto there and bolt it on with that, and we're going to put some silicone on it. So a bead that will go against here and a bead that will go in there. I have had a rag and degreased it, and I've also got a bit of sandpaper and just sanded it just to make sure we get the best. So I'm going to guide it in with two bolts. I'll put a little bit of red Loctite on, and then we'll get this on. Okay, so now we're on to this bit, and again I'm going to get my bit of sandpaper and clean up all this surface here where it's going to go onto there. So I realised when I was looking at the footage I didn't take a shot of the silicone on this side before this gets slid on. So yeah, just to complete it. So again, some thread lock. Drill that out for the ABS sensor. So I think I forgot to record that, but the bearing carrier on, plenty of grease. Torque this up. And then it's just a matter of putting on the Vitara fixed hub, and you can either grind the front lip down or fit a spacer. I fitted the spacer because the lip helps centre that wheel bearing tool, so I use the spacers. They're only like 15 quid. So yeah, and that's it. I didn't film that little bit when I did it, so we've actually been out and done some learning and it's all good. Anyway, I hope that video was useful, and yeah, get on it. Get Brett contacted and get a kit for your Jimny.
Lovely setting, by the way. Kept making a bit of a splash. Maybe I did that as well. Not going to splash me too much. Little bugger. Cheers. Thanks, mate.